Hi, Shaquita Graham here, founder of AtechcoWeb.com. I'm here with Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses, founder of SuccessfulBlackWoman.com. How are you, Noma?
I'm doing great, Shaquita. What about you?
I'm really happy, but unfortunately, the topic that we're going to talk about is not a laughing matter. Baltimore Ravens tight end Ben Watson did an interview with, it's a pregnancy resource center, where he made some statements about Planned Parenthood, where he said, and I'm going to pull up the article, so give me a second here, and we are going to talk about it. The abortion issue in the Black community. He spoke out about that. So let's go in. So here we go. Ben Watson had an interview with Turning Point Pregnancy Center, and he said, I wouldn't have any unique insight, but he did say, I know that Blacks kind of represent a large portion of the abortions. I do know that honestly, the whole idea with Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger in the past was to exterminate Blacks. And it's kind of ironic that it's working. We also have Margaret Sanger's quote here, which is 1 out of 12 that's listed on this website, which says, we should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. We don't want the word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to their more rebellious members. So it sounds like Ravens Ben Watson is saying that, hey, this plan that Margaret Sanger had was working. And I'm going to say one last thing she said. She said that we should apply a stern and rigid policy of sterilization and segregation to that grade of population whose progeny is tainted or whose inheritance is such that objectionable traits may be transmitted to offspring. So that's what she's basically saying, we should sterilize people who have Black kids. So, Noma, what say you?
Well, we can't get mad at Ben Watson because he's just stating facts. And you know what's interesting about Planned Parenthood is so many people defend their right to go there and the right for it to exist. But the only way that we can defend it is when we kind of blur its history and blur what it was created for. And he's basically just stating facts. The person who started it was clear about what it was started for. And even today, it's still doing what it was meant to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to neglect to mention that Maafa 21 is a documentary that was thoroughly done about this topic. And it goes very in depth, and we can't do it justice in this short amount of time. But I will say that I think it's great that Ben Watson spoke up against this, and we need to continue to empower Black men to uphold these kind of values. And as Black women, we should listen to them. There's many times I've heard of Black men saying they don't want the woman that they have a child with to get an abortion. And we are upholding this idea where it doesn't matter what he wants. I want to do this. But as Black people, I think we as a collective need to get our values, the important values for our community together and protect one another with those values and promote the same value or code in our community. And one should be that we don't kill Black babies. And I know that people are going to say, well, it's better to do that than to have babies out of wedlock and have, children that don't have mothers or fathers. And yeah, but we need to stop playing with sex too. It's not a if, you know what I'm saying? It's not one or the other. Stop playing with sex, stop killing Black babies. And we also, I used to work at a pregnancy crisis center that was in a white community. You see those in white communities, but you see only Planned Parenthood in Black community. And what the Pregnancy Resource Center does is try to give the mother some options and some alternatives besides killing her baby, and to help her with parenting classes, to give her clothes and other resources for her baby. We have all these Black churches. Why can't we have a pregnancy resource center in the Black church? Oh, I forgot. People are using the ministers to preach, you know, to bring these white supremacist agendas to pass.
I thought that was quite troubling because, you know, most ministers, if they're preaching the word as they understand it, you're not supposed to kill. So I'm really having a hard time understanding how they convince them to, you know, to jump on that bandwagon. But I wanted to kind of piggyback on one thing that you brought up when you said playing with sex. And I think that we often focus a lot on a woman's choice in the sense that it's her choice to have the abortion or not to have it. I think, though, I mean, it's not even just a thought, it's the truth. We have a lot of choices before that choice, you know. You have the choice, like you said, not to play with sex. You have the choice about the partner that you choose and the circumstances that you choose, so that you don't end up in a predicament where you feel like the only way to get out of that predicament is to kill the child. And I think that if more people understood, because not a lot of people understand this, if more people understood that when you go to Planned Parenthood, you're not exercising your so-called rights. What you're doing is you're furthering this Margaret woman's agenda. And you're doing exactly what she wants in your ignorance. So that's just something that people need to think about. And again, if I was to talk about choices, I think that yes, we all do have a choice, but you could make different decisions and different choices before that point. So yes, we do have choices, but we can make different ones.
And we know this is a no-win topic. It's a heated topic. People are going to be mad and throwing rocks. Before you write down here in the comment section, I am not trying to be like holier than thou and act like I know everything either. It's not like I've always made the best decisions when it comes to anything. But the bottom line is, as a community, I want to see us build. As Black women, I want to see us build. And this is what we need to be getting across to, you know, young women. And I wish that more Black women, you know, talked to me when I was younger. And these are the things that Black men, we need to talk to them about. You know, and our elder, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, said, you know, as Black people, we need to plan out we need to have real Planned Parenthood, not the organization, the real thing. And we need to wait till we have an education and the financial wherewithal to have children, not by aborting them, but by controlling ourselves sexually and making good decisions about our mate. But let me just go ahead and bring up some insight about Planned Parenthood. Now, in 2013, their revenue was 1.21 billion. 45% of that came from taxpayer-funded grants to the tune of $540 million. So this is backed by the federal government. And it's not surprising when you hear somebody like Hillary Clinton say what she said when she was receiving the Margaret Sanger Award. When she said it was a great privilege that she would receive this award, she admires Margaret Sanger enormously. Her courage, her tenacity, and her vision. Which vision? The eugenicist vision that she had? To kill Black people and exterminate them? Really, Hillary? Not surprising. And she said, when I think about what she did all those years ago in Brooklyn, what? Convince Black preachers to get Black people to kill their babies? It's ridiculous. Anyway, she goes on to say whatever, and she justifies her statement. Please, Black Hillary lovers, don't come after me because I'm just not on it. She admires Margaret Sanger, who has a eugenicist plan of extermination for us. Our government, who we pay taxes to, uses that same money to funnel into Planned Parenthood to help exterminate Black babies, as well as, you know, all the other stuff they're doing.
Excuse me. While we're on the topic of Hillary Clinton, you know, I'm not a person who delves into politics too much. But again, I think that sometimes people make decisions out of ignorance. So let's just take a look at her for a second, okay? She says she has openly said that she supports this woman or admires this woman who wanted to exterminate Black babies. She's the one who talked about Black people being super predators, which then took mass incarceration of Black men and other minorities up a notch. I'm running out of reasons to even think that she's even viable in terms of if you're a Black woman or a Black man sitting there thinking about who you should vote for. Why would you pick Hillary? I mean, the topic isn't about Hillary, but I still have to, something that I think we need to bring up, because it seems like every time you go into these topics about the annihilation or the assassination of Black people, there she is.
True, Noma. And on that topic, again, what people don't understand, I just did a video about Nazi genocidal blueprint. And one of the things that I'm going to be bringing up is this book called The Rising Tide of Color Against White World Supremacy, that was written in 1921 by a Harvard PhD. This book, 120 pages, what it amounts to is pretty much exterminating Black people. I mean, the fact that the problem is that Black people can procreate faster than white people. This is this whole book, okay? This person is breaking down the square footage that Black people have on the planet, okay? And so, again, when I did that video, there's a book here in America called the Negro Problem, The Ultimate Solution to the Negro Problem. And there was a book, and not a book, but a whole platform or conference that was done called The Final Solution. And they called the Jews the Jewish question or the Jewish problem. So many people who are out there saying that racism is over, you're exaggerating when you're talking about Black genocide. No. White people said they're not exaggerating. They're serious.
Right. And, you know, just to bring it back, to round back to Raven's Ben Watson, he did say what he said. But if you do your research, you'll see that he's right on the money. He is obviously somebody who has educated himself and knows the history of that organization, Planned Parenthood, and why it was created and what it was created to do. He's looking at our current circumstances, the current state of things, the way that especially Black women defend their right to use the services of Planned Parenthood. And he's just basically dropping knowledge. So don't get mad at him for just telling the truth, or don't get mad at us for telling the truth.
Exactly. And I love the fact that this Black man cares enough about what's happening to Black children, what the evil plan that's been being waged against Black women. And he's saying to us, hey, let's take a look at this. It isn't right. And I feel like, you know, I've recently been attacked on certain different social media sites for posting things about Black love by those administrators of those sites. And I'm seeing other people have their Facebook pages taken down for talking about Black love. And you'll see a bunch of trolls here, because the extermination of Black people is of such importance that if we talk about loving each other, not aborting our kids, we will see white supremacists come out of the woodwork. That's the worst thing in the mind of a white supremacist. And you should use the thing that your enemy fears against them. So we're going to close out. There's so much to be said, and we're going to continue to talk about things like this on marriedwomensbusiness.com. So please go there and register to be notified when we launch that. Noma, anything else you want to share?
No, I was basically going to also say the same thing as check out Married Women's Business. We'll be launching soon. If you drop your email, we'll let you know when we're launching. I'm also giving away a free copy of my ebook, 7 Life-Changing Habits. And to get that, I'll put it in the notes on this video, but it's at nomaspeaks.com. And you can just click on that and you'll get a free copy of my ebook.
All right, well, thank you all for watching. And thank you, Noma, for having this conversation.
Thank you, Shaquita.